Hello, Sean. Welcome. Thank you so much for
Greetings.
joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be
Yes,
here.
ma'am. So we're going to just dive right into it. So please explain to our viewers why food service business, and not just any food service business. From my understanding, you provide both vegan and non-vegan cuisine. What about those two different pilots, tastes, and even appetites has drawn you to provide both of those options?
As the saying goes, you are what you eat. And so it's so important to know who's making your food and what are you eating. And so we wanted to introduce vegan food to everyone because you don't have to be a vegan to like vegetables. So we kind of put a no label on everything and just tell people to try it. And vegetables are good in any capacity.
So you could have chose having vegan food and being the owner of a vegan restaurant, or you could have just chose food that
Yes.
were non-vegan. Why choose both?
Well, definitely being third generation that I wanted to keep to some of our classics. We're from Maryland, so we have to have that Maryland seafood aspect. So I know I wanted to keep that. But then I was afforded the ability to expand the menu. And I wanted to just dive into vegan food because a lot of customers were asking about it. And I said, you know what, let's marry the two. And it came about that now it's like 50-50.
Wow. Again, I know you mentioned that you're from Maryland, Baltimore to be exact. How did you take that flavor profile and that style of cooking to vegan food that you provide your customers?
Well, my first ingredient is always love, and I just knew I wanted to put the love I had for Baltimore and put it into a Philly sense and also still keep my roots in Baltimore. And so, you know what? I'm going to veganize seafood. And so now I have vegan crab legs with a crispy edible shell that cracks. And I also have vegan shrimp, vegan crab cakes, seafood cheesesteaks, everything you could think of, non-vegan, veganized.
Awesome. What have you learned from entrepreneurship?
What I've learned from entrepreneurship is that you have to give it everything. Everything. It's not like you can clock out at 5 p.m. and not have to think about it the next day. This is a part of your life. It's a part of your essence. But it's such a great payoff when you just see those customers just so happy to come and see you and to eat your food. It's also such a pleasure just knowing that this is something that I created and that it's making a mark on the world. And it's just so satisfying at the end of the day that I get to do this every day and I love it.
With that said, what's your why? You have a vast skill set, but why working with your family and food service?
Yes, family means everything to me, and it's such an honor that I get to keep my grandfather's legacy going. He passed recently, and that just made me want to go harder and stronger because I want to make sure, even though I'm third generation, that I keep this open for the fourth, fifth, and sixth generation. So it's just so much deeper than food. It's keeping my family's legacy alive.
Sean, always a ray of sunshine
Thank
and light
you.
when I
Thank
see you.
you.
Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you. Hello, NuYen. Thank you for joining us.
Greetings, Marta. A
Yes,
pleasure. Thank you for
yes.
having me.
Absolutely. So earlier we spoke to Sean, and she spoke about how you guys are not just a small business, but you are a family-owned business.
Yes.
Speak to me about what it means of being a generational owned business.
Great question. Well, I'm a daddy's girl. I always admired my dad. Like, he called me Snoopy. So he like Snoop, Snoop. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur because he was an entrepreneur. He actually started the business. He was like a pie maker. So we still use that same pie recipe that's over 50 years old now. And the thing is, I knew I always wanted to own my business, but I wanted to do something in healthcare. I always wanted to do some kind of type of caring. But when our restaurant wound up getting sold to a big conglomerate, we moved back to Philly. My dad's from South Philly. So once we found this restaurant, my dad, my stepmom, my daughter, my nieces, the whole family helped. The only thing is that when you have a family business, is like once you, I guess, run into like challenges, it's like we deal with it right then and there. So once you deal with those challenges, and everybody just play your part. If that's what you do best. Shon said, "Mom, you best out front talking with the people." So I go out front and talk with the people. Or she said, "Mom, I need you to do the sides." So I'll do the sides. So you just gotta humble yourself. You gotta say, "This is really for the greater good. It ain't about me. It's about serving the community." So my dad was very servant oriented, and I'm very servant, and Shon is very servant oriented. So it don't have to be big eyes and your little U's. You just have to really humble yourself and say, "Hey, we want to make this work."
Mom would suggest it's not only a family business, but you guys are a community focused business as well.
Community means everything, because you know the root word of community is unity. So the one part that we do hire within the community, and we hire a lot of younger generations too. And the thing about that is that even they like, "Well, can my mom come and work here?" And I'm like, "Sure, let your mom come." So it's almost like it's a mom and daughter. They see how Shon and I respond, and I can see how it overflows into the mom and the daughter. Like you can see their relationship is different. Because even though Shon and I are mom and daughter, we still say please, thank you, may I. And so those are things like etiquette that they start to learn. And even with the younger guys that come in, I can feel like, I think I'm like a mom figure to them. And so I think that community is everything. And I think when people walk through the door, they feel that warmth. They feel like that family. And it's not a fake off. I mean, we still have our little battles. Like Shon was like, "When we get in the car, Mom, when we get in the car." But it's like, it's love. Like, all right, let's go back. Let's get back to what we really here for. So this generation is awesome.